Hey guys, I'm bringing another retro episode to you. That's right. We're going deep into our archives to some of our favorite episodes, and this one was a big one for me, going all the way back to May 24th, 2015. And this was the first time that we had an AMA Hall of Famer come into the garage to record an episode with us. This is somebody who had been lore to me for so many years. I'd heard his name mentioned so many times, and I'd even spotted him around Northern California, but had yet to meet him. And so this was very exciting for me because this is somebody who changed the industry. This would be none other than Craig Vetter. That's right. Before Craig Vetter came along and his fairings, touring bikes were just motorcycles. And you can actually see this in the Honda Goldwings, how it went from being a naked bike to a fully dressed touring bike. Well, that's thanks to Craig Vetter. But he did so much more than just fairings. In fact, he's stayed relevant his entire career, contributing to not just the motorcycle industry, but many industries. So this, again, one of my favorite episodes. Hope you enjoy it. All the way from 2015, this is the Craig Vetter episode. Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits at the Recycle Garage in
sunny
Santa Cruz.
Something like that.
Though, Peter, you doubted us this morning when you got here and it was still overcast and cold.
Yeah.
And I said, just wait. I told you so.
Yeah, it got hot. I started to get
that courtyard turned into a magnifying glass. Everybody just gets skin cancer instantly.
So we got a nice big crowd tonight. Let's get into who's here. This is Liza. We also have Douglas.
I'm present.
Bagel.
Aloha away.
Zach.
Here.
Alan.
Here.
Pat.
Howdy.
Craig.
Here.
Terry.
Go electric.
Knock.
Yes.
Cat. Meow. Stan.
Evening.
Steven.
Hello.
And Peter.
Howdy.
So yeah, lots of new names. So we're doing things a little bit different. We're not going to talk about what we did today because I
didn't do jack shit anyways.
I just yelled at Mike a lot about what a bonehead he is.
Yeah, clean.
Because we have this is a special occasion, and the reason we have so many people here is there's some really amazing things happening. And again, we're so fortunate right here in Northern California that we're so rich in motorcycle community and industry that right here in our own backyards, we got things going on. And I had the opportunity to meet this fine sir at the Quail Edge event last week, and this fine sir would happen to be the one and only Craig Vetter here in the garage. You want to say hi, Craig?
Hey.
So let's, for those of you who don't know who Craig is, because
he's not in the band, right? He's not in that Pearl Jam band. Not Eddie Vedder.
That's his brother.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna rattle off. Tell me if I missed anything here. Well, everyone knows you because you created the Windjammer, the fairing that I had on bikes, that anybody who had a fairing had on their bikes. Notable ones would be Prince from Purple Rain. Mm-hmm. I think there was some in the Mad Max movies I've seen. Mm-hmm. I mean, you created the industry, which was something nobody was doing. But you were a designer. You designed the Triumph Hurricane, a bike that was in the Guggenheim Art of the Motorcycle exhibit.
It was.
So it's not too shabby. It's so cool years later get that nice pat on the back, right? Like, hey, you didn't do so bad. You
participation ribbon.
You also designed the Mystery Machine, which, we'll get back to the Mystery Machine.
Mystery Ship.
Mystery Ship. The Mystery Ship.
I was thinking Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, the Mystery Ship, which is a very
cool.
unique looking bike that I believe you designed to perform.
It was a super bike for the street.
Right.
It started out as Reggie Pridmore's 1978 AMA champion bike, and then we put street stuff on it. So it's the real thing.
That is another little feather in your cap. You sponsored your own racing team with Reggie Pridmore, who won his third championship.
Yeah, I don't know, second or third. Yeah, he was good.
You know.
It was the day. It was the time to be doing.
He was good, and you did a little bit of racing yourself.
Yes, until my wife to be said, "You can't do this anymore."
I think people have heard that before. You also then you took like a left turn and said, "I'm going to design a wheelchair," which won the Boston Marathon Wheelchair Division in 1982. So that's something.
You've done your homework.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you're a smart man, and you set out to do something. You're going to do it well. But the thing that we're here to really talk about is the streamliners. Now, people think of streamliners as out setting speed records, and they've existed for a long time. But you are using streamliners on the street. And Terry, Electric Terry, who's here, and Alan here, Alan Smith.
Yes.
That is his real name. You guys are using these fairings to do amazing things with, and Alan, you're riding a Ninja 250?
Correct.
So a gas bike, and Terry's got the Electric Zero. I really wanted to talk about how did you get into this whole streamlined thing? How many people on this planet have caught on to this? Because I don't think there's a lot. I think a lot of them are in this room right now. Yeah, how did you get into this from everything else you did?
Well, it really is all the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. I got into making fairings. My first motorcycle when I was eighth grade, graduated from 8th grade. So I'd been riding motorcycles for a long time before I realized that I wanted to make fairings. And the idea of fairings came from an encounter with Buckminster Fuller. I don't know if anybody Buckminster.
You actually met the dude?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He is. He was. He was. Anyway, what I heard him say, and I used to follow him around, was he said, "You don't have to worry about the future if you do more with less." Mm-hmm. And this was at a time when I had just graduated from college at the University of Illinois in 1966, 65. And there wasn't anybody doing anything. I graduated in industrial design. I'm going to give you the long answer here.
That's what we're here for.
And there wasn't. Industrial design is product design. It's the people who do. They design products. But it turns out most graduates in my class in 1965 went to General Motors to do hubcaps, to do steering wheels, or they went and they did mix masters, or who knows what they did. Anyway, There wasn't anybody doing things with wings or wheels or little engines, which is really what I've always liked. I've liked vehicles with little engines, and whether they could fly or float or anything. I can't tell you why I like. Anyway, Buckminster Fuller said, you don't have to worry about the future if you do more with less. Well, I already rode motorcycles, and motorcycles already did more with less. Motorcycles got 40 miles to the gallon in an era when cars got 12. The cars people wanted got 12. And so I knew right away that my future was going to be in making motorcycles better transportation, because if more people rode motorcycles, we would burn less gas. Parking lots would be less cluttered. Roads would be less cluttered. And that led to making my first fairing.
Yeah, that weight to power ratio helped out a little bit, didn't it? I mean, that's probably what kind of lit it fire under you a little bit. And
well, we like our motorcycles because they've got great weight to power. And my brother and I used to talk about how the ultimate motorcycle in 1966 would have been a 100 horsepower Evinrude liquid cooled outboard engine, and put in a frame, and that's how we thought.
You mean those things I sold at Sears?
No. I'm talking about a really fast motor, which is what I wanted when I was 24, 25. When we're 24, 25, we want to go fast, right? We want to go out street racing, and we want to beat everybody. And
Craig, I still want to go fast.
Yeah. Well, so I made motorcycle fairings that allowed you to actually ride a motorcycle, not get wet, not get blown away, and really like crossing country on a motorcycle. So you could do that with 40, 45 miles to the gallon and ride a motorcycle. You really could do this, and I liked it. So really something really interesting I learned years later. So I'm really too old to be a baby boomer. baby boomers are from 1945 until what, 1960 or so?
Yeah.
Anybody
So.
know?
Stan.
Hi.
Yeah, but for some reason, so I'm 3 years too old to be a card-carrying baby boomer, but somehow I think like one. Somehow, can't tell you. And so as a designer, as an inventor, as a motorcyclist, as a, this is what I want to do for fun, this is what I want to do, it was what baby boomers wanted to do. And so as an inventor, I was inventing things that baby boomers didn't know they wanted until 3 years later. So it's almost been my secret
Head start. You've been a little bit a step ahead of the game all the way.
Always been 3 or 4 years ahead, and so what I wanted when I was making, the baby boomers ultimately wanted, and so I had a head start. There was no way you could compete against me. You just couldn't do it. People would they would try to compete, or they would sometimes just straightforward copy things I was doing, and then I was just always 3 years ahead of them. It was just, you didn't want to compete against me because I just whoop you.
I tell you, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and because this is a motorcycle podcast and we linger on every motorcycle topic, specify, what was your first motorcycle?
Well, my first motorcycle was my 8th grade graduation present in 1956. It was a Cushman airborne scooter. Cushman made these things. Yeah, Cushman made these things that were designed to drop from airplanes in World War II.
Yeah, yep.
And they weighed about 500 pounds, and they had 8 horsepower.
Yeah, it was the inspiration for scooters in Europe too, right? For Vespa.
Yeah.
It could be. Anyway, the interesting thing about it was my first scooter. I loved it. It was my first. But when we had a chance to tour the Atlantic Wall in Europe a couple of years ago, I found that there were 2 motorcycles that the military used. One was called a well bike, and it was made in Britain. The other was the Cushman Airborne. It was made to be dropped.
Yep.
Every one of Hitler's Atlantic Wall structures there has a museum, and in those museums, everyone has a Cushman Airborne and a well bike, and it's because I think they just left them where they dropped them. They were both horrible things, but for me, when I was 14, Cushman Airborne, that was my first one, and that went to Vespas and then the Japanese bikes, Suzuki's and Bridgestones and Yamahas and all the things that. But all the bikes that I know and love are all bikes that are collectible today. I mean, my first really. I had Bridgestone 350s, I had Bridgestone 90s, and things that you don't. What do you mean Bridgestone? That's
For the young people, those are motorcycles, not tires.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah,
and you could actually get Bridgestones from Monkey Ward's at one point.
Yeah, well, they were. Yeah, there's. I know a lot about. I've known most of the people behind motorcycling. I knew John Emery, whose daddy, Lou Emery, owned Rockford Motors in Illinois, and so because he went to school with me at the University of Illinois, and so he got my first Bridgestone, and they would sell them to anybody that wanted them. It wasn't a really good thing for them. And
Did they sell them to anyone who had money?
Anybody that wanted, anybody had a business card that said 2 wheels, they would sell a Bridgestone to, and I think it led to problems with them. But anyway. So yeah, I go way back in motorcycling, and as Terry and Alan and Pat both know, I spend my time writing about people I've come across and people I've known and things that I've done, and amazing. And I realize that there's almost nobody to contest what I'm telling you because they're all dead. So this is getting to be a long time ago. Things that I know personally.
Actually, Liza, this is what I was going to tell you. Over the last year, I've witnessed. 2 years ago, Alan and I and Craig, we'd be in the shop working on stuff. The last year, Craig sits in his chair and he's been writing his autobiography. And I've read a couple chapters, and it's literally just amazing, the stuff that he's gone through. The stories about what happened in 1973. I don't want to say it, Craig. That, to me, of all the stuff I've read, was just the most amazing, where you switch from fiberglass to ABS, and then overnight, the stuff that happened in 1973. I think everybody here would love to hear that.
Yeah. Well, it's not just what I did. It's the people that I met, the people around. I got to spend time with Willie G. I got to spend time with his daddy.
Wow.
And I got to spend time with Russ Collins, and I got to spend time. I mean, everybody that is anybody, Fujio, Yoshimura, everybody that you'd ever know. I know these guys, and we passed through life together in a little bit, some more, some less. And it's really pretty amazing because the time will come when there's nobody really knows these people and could really could tell you what it was like. So I spend my time today writing things that I personally know, personally remember. I don't quote like Bert Hopwood wrote this book called "Whatever Happened to the British Motorcycle Industry." Have you read that book? You should.
No.
It's extraordinary. It's one of the great. But I met him. I met Bert Hopwood. He was Triumph's chief engineer, and he was in line to be in charge of Triumph, and he got passed over for somebody else. But I met this man. I met this man in England, and he's written about the British industry. And so, I mean, I have and what I write about are things, only things that I personally experienced. I don't quote him or anything, but things I personally experienced, things that no one else could tell you. And because I think it's important. So, unfortunately, we got Alan, we have Pat, we have Terry here down building streamliners in the shop, and I generally like to be building streamliners in the shop, but I'm running out of time. And if I don't write the stuff down, I might build tomorrow's streamliner, but then all the neat stories and the interesting people that I've met, they'll disappear. So I have kind of a responsibility, I think, right now.
Well, can you tell me how Terry and Alan, how you all met?
This is a great story. You'll like this story.
Yeah.
For the last 6 years or so, I've been putting on fuel economy contests, and I started out back at the Hall of Fame Museum in Ohio, Pickerington, because I'm on the board of directors for the Hall of Fame Museum back there, and the AMA is really my first love motorcycle organization. And I know people love to hate the AMA, but I love to love them too. And Alan rode his motorcycle back about 6 years ago. He had a big Suzuki, was it?
Yeah, Suzuki Bandit 1200.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
And he was there with a kind of a streamlined box on the back, and I was there with my my Helix with the yellow plastic all over it, and trying to drum up interest in driving the way we drive and consuming the least amount of energy. And Alan took a look at that, and he said, I'm interested in this. And by the way, I live in Castro Valley. And so I said, well, when he came home, when he came down, I said, why don't you ride this Helix, this streamlined Helix that I was developing? And he did. A big smile on his face. And he said, I want to make one. So he went out and bought himself. I said, go find yourself some kind of a 250, cheap 250, because that's the power you need. There's a whole formula of that we've learned over the last 8 years about how to get high mileage, how to live better on less energy. And Alan came back with an air-cooled Honda single. And I think he thought, I said, why don't you come down, we'll streamline it. And so he did. And Alan, tell him what happened, Alan.
I thought it was going to be something we could do in a weekend, not 6 months. So I was off by 5 months and 3 weeks.
Yeah. So Carol, my sweet wife, became a hotel operator, sort of, and we took the spare bedroom and there's 3 beds in there, and then there's another bedroom, and sometimes it's filled all the time, and sometimes all Carol does is make food for these people, and Alan will come down and spend and he's married. He comes down and spend 3 or 4 days down here working on his motorcycle, and Terry would do the same thing. And
I sleep on the couch.
Yeah, and then a couple years ago, we met Professor Richard Goff, who's in charge of design engineering back at Virginia Tech, who's also a motorcyclist, who's also an aficionado of electric motorcycles.
He bought a Zero because of me.
Yeah, and so now Richard Goff will send out a couple of students every year from Virginia Tech, and that brings us to Pat here.
VTech Pat.
Yeah, VTech. And so he got picked, I'm not actually sure, Pat, how it is that you came and no one else did, because we had 2 students last year. So actually, how was it, and why was it, and what's your story?
Well, so I got involved with the team this year, and I'm a sophomore. Closer.
Get closer there, bud.
There you go.
I'm a sophomore at Virginia Tech, and I just kind of stumbled onto the team because I was a motorcyclist I started motorcycling in high school.
And what do you ride?
I ride a Nighthawk 750, so pretty much the least streamlined bike in Maine, probably. But so I started riding after my senior year of high school, and came to Tech and met Dr. Richard Goff, and introduced myself right away when I found out he's a motorcyclist. He said they had this design team together, and they were coming to a close of their design process, but he told me to get involved the coming year. And so I walk in fresh-faced, beginning of the new year, and I was one of I was the 4th member of the team that had joined at that point, because the rest were industrial designers, who all ended up kind of flaking off as the year went along because they came with other responsibilities. So suddenly here I was, pretty much a rookie motorcyclist and a rookie designer, thrust into the role of captain on a team of 10 people now.
Take it till you make it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, tell me about it. And so we've been working on that for the last year, and so we also have a Ninja 250 that we're trying to put together in time for the July contest, July 11th, I think.
12th, yeah.
12th. And so we're most of the way there, but I'm going to be spending a lot of my summer weekends on this bike so we can be ready for the contest. But when Craig emailed Richard or Dr. Goff and said, do you want to send anyone out? Everyone else already had jobs lined up, but then here I am. I'm still kind of scrambling for a job. And I say, what? I'm still unemployed. Might as well make it fun employed. And ended up flying out from Portland, Maine, spent 17 hours flying and waiting in airports, and now here I'm in California, and I'm loving it.
And I wanted to point out that I met you yesterday in Carmel, and you were wearing like every article of clothing you brought with you because you did not come prepared for the Northern California climate.
So everything I heard about Carmel was, you'll love the beaches. Oh, it's so nice here. And I ended up in Carmel, California. It's 50 degrees. I said,
Surprise, sucker!
Yeah, I could have stayed in Maine for this. Seriously, guys, come on.
Well, our deal was with these students is you send students out, and we will teach them everything we know, but then they got to work really hard. And so, in all fairness, Pat really hasn't had time to do anything except drive my number 2 Helix over the grade and back, and
with a paper bag on my head.
Yeah.
No eye holes.
Carol won't even be seen on a Helix. I mean, Honda Helix. Honda probably put their best engineers on that motorcycle. It's really well done, but they put their worst stylists on it. Now Terry's a good story.
Yeah.
Terry, he bought his Zero new himself, not knowing anybody in the industry, in 212 down in Florida. And Terry is very competitive. Terry apparently fell in love with this thing and decided that he was a pioneer in electric vehicles. And he's also internet savvy, and he's on Facebook. And some of the other people I know on Facebook said, they sent me a note, said, Craig, you got this guy coming from Florida to California. He wants to set a cross-country record. And he's just driving a standard Zero, and he's going to come probably to Santa Cruz, to Scotts Valley, where Zero is. And I think you ought to get to know him, a guy named Craig Schultz back in Michigan. So I said, okay. So I chased this guy down and said, when you pass by Carmel, stop and see us. Well, I want to streamline your bike. I said, you don't understand that you want to set records. If we put streamlining on your stock Zero, I think you'll go twice as far on the batteries as you will right now at 70 miles an hour. And he stopped by. We stopped at Baja Cantina down in Carmel. It was love at first sight. Terry and I understood each other. I just admired him for doing crazy things like...
He's not on Facebook, but his wife Carol is. Carol sent me a message. I saw the last name Vetter. He had no idea. I've known who he was for years. And so all of a sudden he said, I want to streamline their bike. It's like, I want to streamline my bike too.
So we had a couple beers at the Baja Cantina, and I explained to him that we really need to streamline his motorcycle, and that he should come down and plan to basically live there for a while, which he did. And we learned from each other. I learned about electric motorcycles, and he learned about streamlining and working in a shop. And we both learned together something we'd already learned with Alan's motorcycle, which is when Alan drives side by side in 2 identical Ninjas, side by side, went from Las Vegas to Barstow, backwards. It used to be Barstow to Las Vegas racing.
Yeah.
We capitalize on that. Use the name because everyone knows it. Go backwards. 250 miles from Las Vegas to Barstow. Alan driving side by side with another Ninja. Doubled the distance that his Ninja will go on a gallon of gas. Like the Ninja driving side by side got 50 miles to the gallon. It was Paul Goldie on a stock.
51 or 52, something like that.
At the end of the day, driving side by side at 70 miles an hour, Alan got 100 miles to the gallon, and it was the same bike, just streamlined. Sitting up, but Alan carried 4 bags of groceries too. So it's very significant. So when I met Terry, the big question was, will this work with electric? Because it's common knowledge that electric bikes really don't go very far on a battery.
Right.
The issue is you can't carry enough energy with you.
That's the number one reason people say that they're not ready to get one.
Yeah, well, now with what Larry and I and Alan and other handful of people who are streamlining motorcycles, actually going out and driving them side by side, because that's the only way you can really tell is to drive side by side in the same weather conditions, the same roads, the same hills, and you don't do this computer simulation now. Maybe Pat will argue about that because he are a engineer. He's going to be one pretty soon. The road is our wind tunnel.
Right.
We don't do anything theoretical. We talk about it. We go out and see what it's like. We really drive side by side.
I kept looking for the big fans at your shop. I didn't see them.
Yeah, no, they're white lines on a black highway is what they are.
Nice.
So it's really a designer's intuitive eye kind of a thing. This looks like an egg. This will probably work, and you're just kind of going from there. I mean,
no, not really.
No.
Okay.
Strike one.
I don't know. I'm asking. I design things too. I want to know, man.
Well, streamlining, the whole idea of what goes through the air with the least amount of energy was pretty much learned by a hero of mine named Glenn Curtis. Glenn Curtis was a motorcyclist. There were Curtis motorcycles back about 1903 or so. He predates Harley a little bit. Then he went on and made engines, and he made airplanes. Curtis airplanes, Curtis engines, yes.
Curtis is the bike that's famously hanging in the SFMC clubhouse.
Yep. I was just there.
Yes, you saw it.
You see Jay Leno?
I did.
It was a cool bike.
Well, Curtis actually went, I want to say 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour in 1911 on a V8 powered motorcycle. He made himself,
amazing.
he drove himself down Orlando, Ormond Beach in Florida. So it made him a hero to me a long time ago. He went on to make airplane engines and then make full airplanes. And the P-40 Warhawk was the Curtis airplane, the one with the teeth on it, from
right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he was a hero. Anyway, Curtis basically discovered and applied streamlining to airplanes and cars and not motorcycles. So we've known about streamlining since right after World War I. So we know it's streamlining. Is round at the front, pointed at the rear, and it's about the smallest you can make and still fit in.
Right.
And it's all the same. Unless if you're going 100 miles an hour, which you do if you're going 70 miles an hour into a 30 mile an hour wind, your motorcycle thinks you're going 100.
Yeah.
Right.
So we do streamlining, optimized for 100. Guys like Dennis Manning, who's had the world's record, Bub's speed record, 360 miles an hour, same shape, smaller in frontal area, because the guy has made himself real small and he's laying on his back. But the air needs to be, the shape, the streamlined shape, same shape, needs to be stretched out to about 21 feet.
Yep. Oh, wow. Okay, so you're saying, yeah.
And Mike Akatif, he's up to almost 400. So
Akatak.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's maybe another foot longer or so. But faster you go, the longer the shape has to be. But the shapes for 100 are about 11 feet long. So,
okay,
and they're just round at the front, and they're pointed at the rear, and they're big enough to fit in, and they're about 11 feet long. Now, if energy, the energy for gas is cheap right now. I mean, energy is we're record lows for gas and for diesel, but it's not that way for electric. The energy,
it's cheap.
The energy is cheap, but it's hard to store. And so Terry's a little, should be a 300-pound motorcycle is up to like 900 or 1,000 pounds without him on it. But that's because all these batteries are very, very heavy, and it takes a lot of batteries to go a long distance. It's a lot. Gasoline's 8 pounds a gallon. Okay, batteries. They're way, way, way heavy for the energy that they carry. Now, it's going to change, but right now, the only way to increase the range of any kind of electric motorcycle at 70 miles an hour is to streamline it. The only way to do it. And there's only one shape. It's not up for a vote. It's not up for, if there's anybody listening and says, I want to streamline, but I want to do it myself because I'm smarter than those guys. I know I can do it. I'm telling you now, there's only one shape. Yeah. And I've got the molds for it. And fortunately, we got dear old buddy Mike Corbin over here in Hollister, who's got probably the greatest fiberglass shop I have ever seen. He's got this guy named Ignacio.
Oh, that's amazing.
Running it, yeah. and Mike is he's real happy to help us produce molds and produce parts for Streamline.
Well, Mike Corbin was one of the original electric motorcycle guys back in 1974.
Yeah,
he went
absolutely.
He went 167 miles an hour on an electric motorcycle.
Yep.
I think it was called the Quicksilver. He had these special silver oxide batteries.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just. I guess it was too ahead of its time, and it was a niche kind of a project, and nobody kind of tended to see or something.
Liza, I got to tell this story. When I was first here doing my first radio show, Craig, you don't even know this. I was talking about you a little bit, and Liza says, I was riding through Monterey or Carmel one day, this is 6 or 7 years ago, and I'm behind this yellow machine, and I was I looked at it, it's this has got to be Craig Vetter, and all of a sudden I see these little flaps open up and these little feet come out. You remember this?
Yeah. I was driving down Highway 1, and there was this big yellow submarine in front of me.
Rolling banana?
Yeah, rolling banana. Just what is this?
You knew exactly what it was, didn't you? Probably.
Well, I didn't actually know at the time, but when I told my friends, they're like, "Oh, you know who that was?" But yeah, and it was just these pieces of strips of plastic, duct tape and rivets, and and then it's well, what does he do when it comes to a stop? And yeah, flaps open, feet come out, and I just kind of kept following, mesmerized, and then find out. Oh, that's where Craig Vetter went.
So yesterday you got a chance to see his.
He's still alive.
Yesterday you saw a silver machine, which is a pretty good looking bike. Yeah. But you know what? It's almost the exact same shape. It just now is more aesthetic than it was then. He was in the design phase then. So I'm still in the design phase now. So I got a little bit of duct tape myself here and there.
You have I call it pizza boxes on yours.
Yeah. We'll get to the point where we want to make it look pretty soon. Right now I got to go do good things and make adjustments, but it's going to happen.
Terry, you will never be to the point where you could leave it alone. It's not in your nature. Your bike probably will never be pretty.
It could be a katana.
I'm going to cry now.
If you started out with all new parts, and like Ellen starting out with all new parts on his second Ninja Streamliner, he's lowered the seat, got a lot invested in this thing. He's lowered the seat almost a foot. He stretched the swing arm, 8 inches, 10 inches. Yeah. This is we got the Ninja Lowboy, and now he's got all the latest refined fiberglass parts on it. It's going to be an extraordinary looking thing, and we're going to take our time making it pretty and painting it, making it nice. But if you ever did that, and I'd like to help you do that, you got this nice blue one out here, right? The newest Zero.
Got 2015
Beautiful.
Zero. It's wonderful.
And how far can you go with that thing? By the way, at 70,
right around 100 miles, a little over 100.
At 70.
It depends if I'm going. I ride. Anybody that knows me, I ride really fast.
Yeah.
So I really don't go 70, but
Yeah.
But
okay.
Anyway, I mean, the thing is, the bike, my Vetter Zero, it may not look pretty, but I've done a lot of amazing things on it over the last year or two.
Yes, you have.
Hey, Terry, don't feel bad that he says your bike isn't pretty, because he took the seat off of his Helix, and what did I say it looked like?
Well, you thought it looked like a toilet.
So that thing looks like a turlet.
Yeah, well, it does, but I didn't need to be reminded of that. What Terry does is Terry walks in and says, I've been thinking about something. I think I could do this. And so that's what makes his bike not look like it. He changes it, and he changes it with tape, and he changes it with an X-Acto knife, and then he lets you write your name on it, and he sprays it with black paint, and pretty soon it looks like junk. Now, the air doesn't know the difference. Interesting, most people think that you got to wax these things and make them real shiny. And
I never have ever washed a motorcycle ever in my life.
I don't think that the air
keeps it together, man.
Yeah, I don't think the air cares if it's shiny. There are a number of these guys sort of tape them together, and Terry's one of them. And I actually think the air is happy to go over some little imperfections as opposed to shiny things. I think it does. I don't know for sure.
It's like a golf ball, you mean? Or?
No, golf balls spin. There's something else going on with a golf ball.
Liza, you know something amazing? if I'm around a bunch of motorcycles like here, you guys look at the bikes like, oh man, I don't think I could ever ride something like that. But when I go somewhere like the Maker Fair or school or something, anybody under the age of like 13, kids, they all flock to this thing. They want to touch it. They want to sit on it. They pull on their mom's pant legs, say, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Well, actually, according to Craig.
I know where you're leading. I want to tell you.
He goes to Carmel. There are more older women that walk up to him on this thing.
Well, but it's not just older women. Here's what happens. I go, Carol gives me mail to go and to take the PO, and this thing will carry 4 bags of groceries or a dog or 3 bags and a dog. And I do. I carry a dog around in the back. Go to the mailbox, and when I come out, there's usually a lady out there just waiting for me. And they say,
or 3 or 4.
Yeah, no, it's just usually one. They say, well, what is this? And I look at them, and if they're older, if it looks like they're older than I am, and most of them in Carmel are, I say, I mutter something. They say, what? And then I say very cleanly, and I get up close, I say, it's a babe magnet. And they go, and then I discovered when I take this thing back to Ohio that young girls like it too. You can't tell young girls in Carmel because they're just not there. But in young, it is a babe magnet. The streamliners are babe magnets. I think Alan will confirm that.
Yeah.
And Terry, look at Terry's Facebook picture. Got babes all around him all the time.
So
it's not Terry. They like his motorcycle.
So,
thrusting through the air.
So Alan and Terry. So Craig says that guys just look at it but don't ask any questions, but the chicks ask questions. Is this true?
Affirmative. Yes.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Very few guys have come up and asked me questions. It's the girl.
Oh, I get guys that ask me about it all the time.
That's a rarity.
Well, I get both. I get a lot of questions from almost everybody.
That's how I met Terry.
So let's get into the Vetter Challenge, because Terry and Pat and Alan are all part of this. And let's first say, who won last year? Was it? Who won the Vetter Challenge last year?
Well, we had a couple last year. Alan won one at 181 miles an hour.
Yeah, in Ohio.
Yep.
And then
I never made it to Ohio. I might have beat you. I don't know, but
you have to show up.
Alan is top dog from last year, and we measure the results in miles, in pennies per mile, not miles per gallon, because how would you do miles per gallon for Terry? You can't do it.
Right. You have diesel vehicles.
Yes.
Anything you want.
Electric.
Fred Hayes. I don't know if you know who Fred Hayes is, but he's got an amazing looking motorcycle. The thing is, he's just too old to crouch behind this thing, all the time. He's actually he just bought a Vetter fairing. I have a feeling next time we see him, he's going to have a full fairing on that.
That allows you to sit up. You don't have to bend over. Yeah, you sit up in comfort. It's important. The characteristics. What I'm looking for. Well, let's go back to 1980. I had just sold the company that made Windjammer fairings, and one of the reasons I sold it for a number of reasons, but one of the bigger reasons was motorcycles were no longer doing more with less. They were not. You could buy cars that got 40 miles to the gallon in 1978, and the motorcycles people wanted were less than 40 miles to the gallon. Well, one of the big reasons for being in business was no longer here, so that's one of the reasons I sold.
Right.
So, in 1980, I wondered what is possible. How much energy really is possible go down the road? In that time, it was 55 miles an hour, and I started putting on contests from San Luis Obispo to Carmel, and we would
Dogfight.
No dogfight. We would go from a Madonna Inn parking lot to the Rio gas station here. It's 134 miles, and you'd have to do it in, I don't know, it's 2 hours, 43 minutes or so. Anyway, in 5 years, we learned what's possible. We learned that you can get 470 miles to the gallon, going 55 miles an hour. Driving, really going 55. 470, that's really
Are we talking on a moped? What?
We're talking about in the end, it was tiny little streamliners.
Okay.
It was painful. You had to make yourself real small and get in these things. Tiny little streamliners, and they had about 12 horsepower, between 8 and 12 horsepower. So they were 125 to 175 cc's. So to go 55 miles an hour into the winds, usually from San Luis Obispo to Big Sur, it took about 12 horsepower. So we learned that. Now, we didn't change motorcycling at all because gas, I can't really tell you for sure. I think it's because the bikes were not comfortable. So here we are now at the end of the 2008 and I want to do it again because half the fuel that America uses now in vehicles is imported in 2008. In fact, actually 2/3 of it was imported. And it's making other people rich, and it's taking money from our pockets. And so I put the contest on again, except it was different this time. It was like, you got to sit in, you got to have a motorcycle that's comfortable. Mm-hmm. You got to have a motorcycle that really carries something useful.
Let me highlight that part. Back in the early 80s, you literally had to be in a crouch position, like tucked behind this thing. And when Craig first met me, I thought I wanted to ride that way for a little while. But be honest with you, you can't. Nobody here, I don't care how physically fit you are, you can't do that for more than an hour.
Yeah, this is a lot less.
You're gonna be in pain.
It's a lot less mass appeal too, right? I mean,
yeah.
You're not gonna commute yourself into a ball.
So Craig's like, Terry, I want you to sit absolutely upright. I'm like, Craig, I don't think I want to do that. I want to be. Can we compromise? Craig's like, no, Terry, trust me. Turns out Craig was right. And you got to hold stuff too. So
yeah. So today, we're trying to develop motorcycles that you actually will be your first choice in the garage. First choice. You go out and look at the car. You look at anything out there, and you say, "Boy, that thing there is that Vetter Challenge bike is comfortable. I can go to the store. I can do all these things. I can stay dry. I can sit up, be comfortable." That's what I want. Now, once again, if fuel ever becomes precious, or that's really what it is, and you want to go 70 miles an hour on the road, and I don't know if fuel ever becomes precious, will you want to go on the road? This really the question. Yeah. Well, are we headed to a Mad Max? I don't know. It wouldn't be nice. It's not a nice thing to think about.
Well, and there's
a whole bunch of cage fights.
There's another question that we were talking about yesterday with Pat. So, Pat, the bike that you are building at Virginia Tech, does it have a Vetter fairing? We
do have a Vetter fairing on the front.
Does it look cool?
We're working toward
Awkward
that.
Pause.
I mean, to be fair, our bike is one that we work on the weekends when we can fit in like an hour or two. Whereas I know that like Alan's bike and Terry's bike and Craig's bike, these are bikes where you sit down for 15 hours a week. And you sit down and you say, I'm going to make this a better vehicle today. Whereas at Virginia Tech, we're still working on really hitting our groove and hitting our rhythms and stride so we can make this into a cool bike. But right now, it looks kind of like a mailbox with a Vetter fairing on the front.
Yeah, I mean, for something to become successful, it can't just be functional. It has to be cool. Terry, your bike, it looks cool, but with all of your attachments you put on, it is awkward getting on and off. I've seen. And then Alan, with your bike that's been lowered, Craig taught me a new word yesterday.
What's that?
Kajubies. He said that because you've taken your seat and you've lowered it down, and then you've got that piece, the airbox. The airbox.
You're gonna bust up your kajubies.
Yes, it's to protect your kajubies.
That's why there's a big slope in the front. So you can slide over it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, Craig, your bike, especially with it's aluminum now, shaped aluminum. Yeah. It does look kind of cool. It does look cool.
Cool.
You're definitely. I mean, you're on the right track. Do any of you see these becoming mainstream in the next 10 years?
Only if energy becomes precious.
Yeah.
Because most people would rather buy O-ring tires for their cars, or spend money on paint jobs on their motorcycle, or get more power out of their motorcycle, or have a wider tire on it. Whatever is considered to be cool at a particular time, people would rather spend their money on that. Because energy really is, it's cheap. It really is cheap.
I brought this up about 30 minutes ago. We missed it. But before we run out of time, I really want you to tell the story about what happened in 1973. Because it wasn't about what was cool then. It was what you had to do to survive.
Kat's got a quick comment, and then we'll come to 1973.
So more so than energy becoming precious, the environmental wasteland that we are creating due to all the cars and all the gas and oil-powered machinery on the road, do you foresee a turning point at which people realize that the oceans are turning to acid and that going to start raining acid.
You're
and
bumming
things.
me out, Kat.
Yeah, thumbs up,
Do you
Cat.
think
You're
that-
speaking my language.
Well, do you
already.
think that that's going to be a large factor in people realizing, we need to change now, or
No, we'll be on Mars by then.
yeah?
But no, it's a good question.
Are you saying we'll be on Mars before people care?
Yeah.
You know, you're asking. No, I don't think people think that far ahead. I see very few
Sadly.
people that think that far ahead. I actually, it's kind of funny. We'll be on Mars by then. I think there's behind the whole idea of going into space, maybe because they also suspect that what you're talking about is happening, and where are we going to go if we can't live here?
Yeah.
And the people that are smart enough to go into space are foreseeing that the oceans are and everything's starting to go.
I don't.
It's like going to a new bar. It's like, this place sucks.
Yeah.
It's been sucked dry.
I don't think there's much concern about that. Even I'm suspicious of the claims and the measurements and where this is rising and there's too much of this and it's being caused by Americans, and I think there's a lot of scare stories being thrown out just so we'll submit to control by others.
Well, it's in a scare story. You guys saw what happened last week in Santa Barbara, right? If you try to walk on the beach in Santa Barbara, you're like, knee deep in oil going up to your legs right now. This isn't a scare story. This is really what's happening.
Going past environmental tactics of whatever is going on with the environment, humans are dumping massive amounts of sulfur and oil and
CO2
and into not only the environment but our environment that we are forced to live in every day.
Yeah, it seems like every month or so I hear about some massive train that crashes in a town and spills 200 tankers of oil in somewhere. It's
not just spills, but explodes and destroys the town.
Yeah.
Well, and it definitely takes people with forward thinking to lay down the tracks for the future, of which
Yeah.
you people in this room are doing.
Let me put my perspective in. It's real simple. I think the future is electric. I don't think it's petroleum. I don't think it's nukes. I think it's electric, and I think it's electric that we harvest from our own rooftops.
Yep.
There's no. I could see no downside to learning how to live on the energy that we can harvest from our own property. This means that we're not dependent upon power from anywhere else.
I know Tesla just created that house battery. Charge it during the day, use it during the night.
They're actually putting it in a few select Walmart locations as well.
That's cool.
To test it. It's actually really cool, and I believe they're going to be making that technology public as well as they did to their car batteries.
Sweet.
Sorry, go ahead.
But does it really solve a problem to be in Walmart? Shouldn't it be in our own rooftop?
Right,
It's
exactly.
Because now we're dependent upon Walmart instead of PG&E.
Well, they got to charge for that sunlight.
Well, what they're doing is Walmart's using it to power their stores. They're not actually providing electricity to other people.
Right,
they're using it to do basically a beta test to make sure that it can withstand.
I like that idea.
And to save money.
It'll eventually be on your house.
It's being put into houses.
Harvesting electricity from our own property and then learning how to live on that I am absolutely convinced is the future. My role is very small. Terry's role, Alan, Pat, very small role, and that is to learn how to make that energy last longer on vehicles that go 70 miles an hour. That's it.
Awesome.
It's real simple. It's just my small little part to that. Now, what's neat is Carol and I have a son who is a knock-nosed has decided that he's going to heat the water directly from the sun, and so he's sort of like heir apparent to this kind of thinking in our own family, and he has put up a water heater driven by the sun.
Talk about Zach Vetter, paintball buddy of Knack, by the way.
Zach Vetter. Knack used to be able to do paintball with him, but not anymore because Zach's involved with now learning
real things,
learning how to
things.
Learning how to live from energy harvested from the sun there in Carmel. It's a big thing.
It totally is.
This is not talk. This is the real thing. We're not sitting here crying about how we're victims. We're actually these people are learning how to go through the air with the least amount of energy.
And it seems like it's kind of obvious. You have this giant nuclear furnace in the sky that everybody gets every 24 hours, and it's like,
Yeah.
Why can't you capitalize on that? Why not?
Can I also mention that you're doing this in Carmel, which is a very overcast area of the state, and you can still collect energy from the sun, even if it's overcast, just like they're doing in Germany. They're now providing 20 to 25% of their electricity just from solar and wind.
Yeah, that's a national product, a national goal.
Yep.
For us, it's an individual goal, and I'd rather be, make it individual responsibility.
Sure.
What if Zach walked in today and said, we haven't had any sun at all today. Do you know how much water, what the temperature is on the water that thing is making right now with no sun?
That's exactly what I was going to say. You guys were talking about how sunny it was here, overcast in Carmel all day long.
Yep.
The water temperature that they used to have hot water at the house was over 100 degrees on a completely cloudy day.
Yeah,
So-
I think it was 120, and you know what a happy shower is? It starts out 103, 104.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when are you going to build your own electric scooter? And I'm staring at Bagel too, because Bagel was very inspired at your shop yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I will do it when Zero is in a position to help me get started. Zero is probably at the forefront of this.
I think
Hear that, Zero?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got two people here that are chomping at the bit to do that. So
If you guys follow the Electric Terry Facebook page, there must be 60 comments a week about people that want an electric scooter.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Just even today, look at it.
You mean one they don't sell at Toys R Us?
Don't you just pull the cord in the back?
or at Pep Boys.
They want a scooter that's going to go 70. 70 might be the max, but they want a scooter.
So I know a little bit about business. I've been in, and it's to be in the vehicle business in America. There's only one person I know that's done it in the last 100 years, and that's Elon Musk.
Yep.
and there's nobody done it in motorcycling. Poor Eric Buell just had to close the doors.
Yep.
Nobody has done it. I think that Zero. I want Zero to do it. They got a good head start.
Yep.
They got smart guys, and the time may come when they feel flush enough to say, okay, Vetter, you've been talking about this scooter now for 3 years. Take this thing and turn it into a scooter, make your dream scooter, and which I would. So that's really what we're waiting for.
So I want to ask you a question. Since you're an accomplished innovator and designer, but I want to know: is there anything that you've created that didn't work out like you planned?
I've heard all the stories.
Well, probably most of them haven't. But the reason most of them haven't is because it's not that they're not good ideas. Good ideas that are really worth doing. It's that there's only have so much energy to and at age 72, there's a little there's less energy now than ever before, and I can look forward and I can say, there's probably going to be less energy at 73 and then 74, and Lord only knows how many more there are. But if you're going to be successful at anything, you got to dedicate your life to it. When I made fairings, it was me. It was no wife. It was no kids. It was me. It was no house. It was no payments. It was me living in a big furniture truck in Illinois. All I thought about was making motorcycle fairings. That's all I thought about, and there's a whole lot of ideas that would work, but you have to dedicate your entire life, all your working days to make it happen. Now, there are a lot of things that I could see we're going to be like. I will not do my own electric scooter right now because I know that what it's going to take. It's going to take more hours in the day and more money than I have to invest in it. So I'll wait for a Zero. There was an interesting thing happened back in 1970. Gosh, let me think about this so I get it right. 1971. Alco was a young hotshot designer, and I'm an old hotshot designer. Anyway, Alcoa was looking for young designers to support, give them some aluminum, give them some money to get ads in Fortune magazine. And they picked me as one. It was called Ventures in Design, and they said, do something that'll make a nice ad for us in Fortune magazine. And so I went right to this dream thing I wanted to do, which is a ram wing. It's a flying. Call it a flying skateboard, or if you're on a tabletop and you got a playing card and you flip it with your fingers, it'll skitter across a smooth tabletop. Okay, what that card is doing is it's squishing air. It's a little bit of air between the card and the table, and there's no friction, and it'll just go right off the table until it gets to the end of the table and then falls. what I wanted to make and what I did make was a man carrying ram wing. It was like a big card, but instead of flipping it with our fingers, I towed it with my big furniture truck. Well,
he hurt himself on this thing.
He never got hurt on that thing ever, and because I knew it was I just had to do it.
I was about to ask, what the hell were you thinking sitting on that thing? It was just a big old crazy wing.
I was standing on it.
Yeah.
Well, what I really thought was that it was possible. No, I just had to do it.
You had to do it?
I was
That's
pretty
great.
sure. I was pretty sure. Well, actually, what it was going to end up with was this. I was going to use a motorcycle and just take the front wheel off. Just have the. Actually, we saw these up at the Dream Machine. What do they call them? They're like one-wheeled motorcycles with skids on the back. And they.
Oh right. Oh, the mud sled thing.
Okay, yeah,
right?
mud sled. So I was going to make one of those, and I was going to have this long pole, 100-foot long pole, stick hanging out the back, and then I was going to have this ram wing that I would sit on. That would have a wheel, and I would control this motorcycle engine way up front, control it from 100 feet back, and have it pull me around.
For those guys that are listening, this is like wakeboarding behind a boat, remote controlled, but instead of over water, you're over pavement.
Yeah. So that's what really it would have done that. And it would have been, and over water would have been good too. But I realized that Alcoa said, "Craig, you're out of time." And I said, this has got to be done by September or something. So I realized that I didn't have the resources or the time to take this really good idea and do anything with it. And I'll end the story very quickly. So what do you do when you're lost for something? You go for a motorcycle ride. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I got on my motorcycle, went to Colorado and back, and on the way I was looking at what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And in the Midwest, they were making freeways for 6-lane freeways. And one of the things they do in the Midwest, in order to make overpasses, is they dig holes where highways are going to cross over each other, and they dig holes to build ramps so that one of the highways can go over the other. Okay?
Right.
Well, they dig that dirt out pretty close by in a farmer's field right along the road, and those are called what? Who knows what those are called? Called borrow pits. In the Midwest, they're calling it. That's where I was in Illinois. They're called borrow pits. So every time there's an intersection in highways in Illinois, you got borrow pits on either side because that's where they borrowed the dirt to make a ramp.
Right.
Well, now these were all new at that time in the early 70s, and I noticed that this water was skimming over. Hot Illinois summers was skimming over, and it was. Algae was skimming across the top, and once algae went across the top, it putrefied. It kept oxygen from going in, and it made the water stink. I thought, what I'm going to do is, for Alcoa, is I want to make a sun-powered air pump on a stick. And so it was you just make this thing out of aluminum, aim it at the sun, and it was big. It was about 3 feet in diameter, and it was a solar collector, big solar collector aimed at the sun. You row out to the middle of one of these borrow pits that always was going to die pretty quick, poke it in the ground, and this thing was designed to inhale air and then push it out through a rubber line down to the bottom of the borrow pit, and so all day long, when it got hot, it would just pump air into the borrow pit, and that would keep the thing from keep life in the borrow pit alive. So that made a really nice ad in November 1970, Fortune magazine.
I wanted to share with our listeners that the ram wing we're talking about, you actually have a very nice website you can find out the history of Craig Vetter and everything he's done from cool to crazy at craigvetter.com. But if you click on the videos link, go all the way to the bottom, and there's this, it looks like old black and white film of some crazy young buck holding on to a rope on this wing being dragged behind a truck, and just wearing no gear, just that little helmet, no gear, big grin. This is when I saw this. I think it's
the most important part, right? A big grin.
What I love too is that you're dragging along and it's not really lifting, and you're trying. It's kind of skipping a little bit, and then it cuts to you're off and you guys are just dragging the wing, and it starts to take off, and it just does this violent flip and breaks into pieces.
Well, before it broke into pieces, it snagged the power line off on the right.
You weren't going fast enough. That's probably the problem.
Well, I was pretty sure it wasn't. I was pretty sure it wasn't going to carry me, but I really thought it would pick itself up, and it did. But I wasn't there to control it, and it's just some things you have to do. You have to see if you do it.
I'm already trying to figure out how we can do it with the scooter.
Yeah, we can figure
We got
something
those
out.
sleds.
I'll show you how to do it.
So, what's the biggest challenge of your career? Like the biggest design challenge?
Good question.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge really is, and we already talked about it, is that it's been very, very easy for me to design things that take your fancy. See, that Windjammer is really neat. That I really want to look like that. This Triumph Hurricane is really neat. This mystery ship is really neat. Most people cannot see that a streamlined vehicle is really neat. So I would say it's probably the biggest challenge right now is, and at the same time, I already told you there's only one shape. There's only one shape, so I can't change the shape. So it's going to be down to finishing. And people like chrome. They like shiny paint. They like shiny. So it's going to come down to something that's finished and doesn't look like a toilet seat. It's going to. Then you can't finish it until you're absolutely certain that there's nothing else to change. We're there now.
There's a saying called form follows function, but here's one of these things where a streamlined motorcycle, it does amazing things for my electric bike, does amazing things for Alan. So you'd think people would attach on to the things that do wonderful things, but streamlining is one of those things like people are just afraid to look like that. So here's a situation where that just doesn't work. At least right now it doesn't. Like Craig said, if fuel ever became precious, we had wars or environmental disaster and gas was hard to come by, everybody would be like, I want to look like this, but right now it's just not the case. But the thing is, it does much more than a regular motorcycle can do. I can't store. I go to try to do laundry or do something else, carry stuff on that Zero out there. I can't put anything in those saddlebags. I got this huge...
The naked Zero, yeah.
I got this huge trunk in this thing. I can put 2 kegs of beer and 3 chicks in the back of that thing.
Yeah, but does it
So let me tell you an interesting story. This is a true story. We're making a Windjammer. I invented this thing in 1971, winter of 71, 72. And we're making them and could never make them fast enough. And they just converted over to faster ways of making things, and the Windjammer 2, the second one, which is vacuum formed and painted. It was really dramatically different.
I had one of those.
Really dramatically different. Here we are now in October of 1973. What happened in October 1973? OPEC decided to shut off the petroleum supply to the West.
Yeah.
And suddenly our government leaders reacted and they said, well, you can't. Cars can only buy gas on odd even days. So if your license plate's got a 2 on the end, then you can buy gas, but you can only buy 8 gallons a day. We're gonna lower the speed limit to 55. But one thing. Yeah, but one thing is if you have a motorcycle, you can buy all the gas you want. Oh, well, that was really something. What happened after October 1973? Every motorcycle that could be made, brought into America, was sold. Everyone. Yep. And of course, we like big motorcycles, and the Windjammers were going on anything over 500 cc's. Every Windjammer we could make was going on those bikes, because my wife, Carol, was in the office at that time, and she heard the story over and over. It was, honey, I got to go to work tomorrow. We can't get gas for the big car, but if we get a motorcycle and I put a Windjammer on it, then it'll go 40 miles to the gallon. And the wives would say, great idea. And so motorcycles took off in 1973, and they and so did my company. My company has already taken off, but it was this totally unexpected thing that happened that made motorcycling and Windjammer fairings the thing to have.
You know what
could
you
it
did?
happen again? Maybe.
Sorry. You know what you did is you made the look of what a fast bike is, because back then, before fairings, it was a naked bike going around the track. You have the fairings on it now. Now that's a fast bike. It looks like it's going 100 miles an hour at standstill, and whole thing just came from that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Right, we all live in California right here, but how many people have ridden when it's below freezing outside on a motorcycle?
Yeah, it
when
sucks.
I lived in North Carolina, drove below freezing many times. You want the air off of you. This is what the Windjammer did. And if you couldn't get gas in the wintertime and you lived in Illinois or anywhere up north, you had to have this thing. You wanted to keep the cold air off of you.
And it's interesting that at that time I was living in Illinois, and the Windjammer was designed for cold weather. If I'd lived in California, you'd never had a Windjammer.
Yeah. You know what else you can do with it? You could put speakers in it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I was rocking a Windjammer.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
Yeah, it was a good time. But who could have guessed that fuel would become not available? And who would have guessed how that would have just made motorcycling a big deal and drug along the Windjammer with it? Who'd have guessed? I had no idea. But now, since I've seen that at least once, I could see that it could happen again.
Well,
if fuel became precious.
Didn't it almost happen in 2008? Like, weren't we that close to like having a disaster just like 7 years ago?
Oh, but then they say, oh, but we have some extra in Texas or something.
Yeah. So we've always been able to supply our way out of just about every problem.
What
and 73 was one of those years where we couldn't supply our way out of it.
Alan's a secret government spook. What's that called? The Strategic Petroleum Reserves there, and
in Kansas area, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of 73, it has nothing to do with 73 actually. But you owe me a front fender.
Tell me about it.
Well, back in the late 80s, I think, I finally scored myself a Windjammer for my CB 750, and I mounted it on there and went for a ride, and the first speed bump I hit, I put a giant dent in my fender because I mounted it too low.
What year CB?
That was going to be an 80, I think.
Yeah, see, you probably didn't put the right bracket on it.
You did it wrong.
I got it at a yard sale.
Honda was one of those companies that would change a CB 750 twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year.
Yeah.
And so if you're ever going to put a Windjammer on an old Honda, you'd better know for sure which one it was, the bracket was made for. Whereas if you're doing Kawasaki's, any 903 will fit any 903. They didn't change. Honda changed all the time. I'm not sure why.
Well, and that was something that was really cool about the Windjammer too. Is it was the same Windjammer just with different brackets.
Yeah, and that made it a good.
I mean, that's how you run a business right there.
Well, here's the thing. In this is an interesting story. Between 1966 and 1971, I had every time a new bike came out, I designed a new fairing for it, new fiberglass fairing. So I had 5 different fairings, and there was a black one or a white one. So 11 total you could have. One time I had them all hanging up in my shop, just like you have things hanging up in here. And I looked up and I thought, boy, this is really neat. I've never seen one of everything before. And then I thought, if I've never seen one of everything, no dealer has ever seen one of everything. A dealer, I'm never going to be able, this company will never grow unless I turn this unique product into something that is... this unique fairing into something that's a good product. And a good product would mean that a dealer could order a fairing and know that it would fit anything. And that's what a Windjammer was. It took me the better part of a year to figure out how to make one fairing that would fit all motorcycles. Yeah. And I did, and that became the Windjammer, and that was there when the fuel crisis hit. Dealers at Patrick met day before yesterday, my first Windjammer dealer. His name is Dwayne Osherman, and he had a BMW shop at San Rafael.
Oh, cool!
And he saw the first Windjammer that was made when a customer came in with a blown BMW with this first Windjammer on it, and then he ordered more, and he was ordering up to 25 at a time. He knew he could do it because it would fit Suzuki's and Honda, would fit anything, because all it took was that bracket, the right bracket, to make it fit. Now, what that led to was dealers that would order 100 at a time or 1,000 at a time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, knowing that it would fit anything, and they could do it. And it would fit bikes unannounced. That's how good that thing was. But I didn't start out that way. And I started out with, this, and one day noticed, and then you change. It's important at the stage we're at today doing streamlining is to be brutally honest with what we're looking at, what we're doing, and why aren't people interested in this, and talk about it, and then talk about what we should do to to make it a good product, and it's probably never going to be a good product as long as energy is cheap and abundant.
Well, so that brings up, are you selling your Airstream fairings now?
Oh yeah, but they're kits, and you've got to be well. I presume the people that I'm looking at here in this room are all builders. They all know how to use tools. They know how to file and glue. And okay, most Americans don't do that anymore.
Right.
Most Americans they want to buy something already made, and there's no reason for me. I don't want to be back in. I would go back in business if there really was a market, but there is no market because people don't really care. They just as soon spend their money on fuel and look like everybody else. And in order to streamline, if you really wanted to streamline your own motorcycle, you'd have to buy the same kit that Alan has, that Professor Goff has, that Terry has, and spend the better part of a winter putting this on your motorcycle.
And we're talking a Helix, a Zero, a Ninja 250. I mean, this is a range.
Yeah, it'll go on anything. You just have to fit. The brackets aren't made to go on every bike yet. That's what Alan and I and Patter do. We make it fit the bike.
Well, Alan's making the bike fit, it seems like.
That's the new one.
Well, and this is a good time for anybody that really thinks, this is kind of interesting. This is a worthy thing to spend our time doing. You have to, let's see, how much time do we have?
About another 5-10 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something really interesting. I told you that I was involved with the Motorcycle Hall of Fame back in Ohio. And one of the guys that I interviewed was a guy named Jerry Branch. Does anybody know who Jerry Branch is?
Nope.
Jerry Branch did heads for Harley Davidson. Yep. He made Harleys go fast. He's a brilliant person. Brilliant. And I interviewed him once, and I pretty much knew what Jerry did because he's an old guy and I'm an old guy. I said, Jerry, what do you do here? And his answer surprised me and changed my life. He said, "I make engines that make more power." I said, "Okay, I kind of knew that." And I said, "How do you do that?" And his answer was the answer that changed my life. He said, "Burn more gas and air."
Sounds simple.
It's not the answer that I thought I was going to get.
Yeah.
I thought, but basically he reduced turbocharging and extra carburetors and high compression and RPM, and he reduced all that to a very, very simple, very intelligent answer. Make more power, we burn more gas and air. What do we want to do today?
Burn less.
We want to burn less gas and air, and so then what it means is we need to learn how to live on less power. Well, I can tell you now with great authority that a Honda Helix does not quite, at 17 horsepower, does not make quite enough power. It's a little bit not enough. Go up hills, got winds. It'll max out at 82 miles an hour, which is a whole lot faster than a standard Helix. Nonetheless, the Ninjas are put out about 25 horsepower. The Ninjas are the sweet spot for fuel economy. If you want to be a contender, start with a Ninja, streamline it, and you will be instantly right up pushing 200 miles to the gallon.
There you go, Cat.
At 70 miles an hour, 70, 80 miles an hour. But it's not a scooter. And there's a problem when you streamline. You got this thing behind that kind of picks up the air from behind your back, and you try to throw your leg over. You can't throw your leg over because the stuff's behind you. Can't do it. That's why a scooter configuration is so good. A step through. You go over, slide over, sit down, drive away.
Bagel, you have a big grin over there. I can't see it.
Yeah. Gears are turning in my head.
Yeah.
One gear.
So,
it's a continuously variable gear.
It's a CV gear. Yeah.
So what I'm hoping is that the Zero someday will say, it's time, Craig. Let's build this scooter. Show us what you're talking about, and then we'll streamline an electric Zero, and then we'll be there.
One thing I'd like to add about the streamlining is, if you tell somebody you get 100, 150, 180 miles per gallon, a lot of people don't realize it's just their brain goes tilt. They don't understand that number. So I got 82,000 miles on my bike. I've gone coast to coast 4 or 5 times. I can go coast to coast on 20 to 25 gallons of gas. So whatever it takes to fill your car up. That's what I mean.
What?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
People, if you say I get 180 miles per gallon, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
But you say, okay, let's translate to something you can understand,
Yeah,
because
you've gotta
180
quantify
it doesn't make sense to people.
Yeah,
So-
if you can go coast to coast on $80,
or
I mean, you can't do that on a plane.
I could fill it twice and get to Oklahoma to visit family.
And you can take your luggage.
And I take my luggage, my laptop, computer, tools, rain gear, and cruise 70 miles an hour on the freeway and make two fuel stops.
What's interesting
With a
is
stock
that Alan
engine tank.
Alan has friends he rode with last year, and they had the big dual sports with the giant boxes on the back and
Ducatis,
the look.
Ducati motorcycles.
Yeah, and they were telling
Triples.
about their concerns and what actually happened on this trip. And you, as you said, well, I'm going to go with you with my Streamlined 250.
Well, yeah, we wanted to see how a 250 Streamliner would go against 1 liter plus bikes, 150 horsepower motorcycles. And the only problem was on the on-ramps. They could pull me on the on-ramp, but after that, it cruises 70, 80 miles an hour. That wasn't a problem. I had to tell them, hey, if you guys get low on gas, you have to stop because I don't go on reserve till 450 plus miles. So, and I a couple times run those guys out of gas because they're not used to cruising 80 across Texas. All of a sudden, they found out they get lousy fuel mileage. They're running out of gas on the side of the freeway, and I have to go load fuel on their bikes for them.
How are the crosswinds? Because I imagine that would really suck.
Below 30 is not really a big problem, but if the Harley's blowing around in gold wings, then I'm having problems too. So it's not really that much worse.
All right, so Alan, that's all fine and well, your little mileage accomplishments, but I want to know, for all of you, how much faster does it go? I know you guys are about the mileage, but how much does it increase the speed?
I don't know top speed, but at 90, 95 miles an hour, at a little over half throttle.
No way.
That's sitting up carrying all my gear.
Alan,
That's
with,
awesome.
with your gear, and I think a stock Ninja 250 is somewhere around 100 miles an hour.
100, 105 if you're tucked in.
I think you should test yours over at Bonneville one of these years and see. I bet you
don't want to clean the salt off.
No. We'll do a freeway section.
You got to have the back wind though. For for the stock Ninja 250. You can get to like 110
That's
full
right, you have
tug
a Ninja.
back wind downhill.
I know we're probably about out of time, and I want to bring this up before we're done. But in a couple weeks, we're going to be leaving Tahoe, going towards Santa Monica. Let's spend a little bit of that time and not worry about our fuel economy, and let's do a top speed run where we got a nice clear section.
Yeah.
Well, okay, since we are getting ready to wrap up, first I want to say, Terry, congratulations on your recent accomplishment.
Yes.
The 300 and...
It was 300.1 miles.
300.1 miles.
That's important. Point one.
On one charge.
Single charge, yeah, that's right.
But you do have a lot of batteries.
One big charge.
Yeah. I have more battery than a Nissan Leaf on a motorcycle.
But you continue to figure out how to put more batteries on, including losing weight yourself to be able to have another battery.
Yeah, I actually got chewed out by Craig yesterday. He said, "Terry, don't do it. You're gonna die." But we argued about it for a little bit, and I told him I'm gonna lose more weight, and I don't know if he's okay with it or not yet.
All right. Well, Terry, consult with me on the nutrition aspects. I'll be able to help you out with that.
I drink plenty of beer. It's okay.
You could just do Pilates while you drink beer.
So, for Craig and Terry and Alan, coming up 4th of July weekend in Hollister, we have the Vetter Challenge.
Mike Corbin's.
Yeah,
Right.
Mike Corbin's going to have a big party on the 4th, and so we're going to do a 100-mile ride. We're going to drive through town and head south and go out 50 miles, turn around, come back, and then determine a winner. And I'm hoping that Mike's going to have his new electric Sparrow running.
Nice.
And he's been working hard on it. And there'll be a number of other people there that have different
And Craig, it's okay to invite any motorcycles that are listening to join us, right?
Oh yeah, that's the point. Anybody who wants to come to the, there's no money. You just come and be there at 9:00 on the 4th of July, and we're going to ride, and we'll go out and we'll stop and have coffee, tell lies, and turn around, and come back. but it's a lot of people get started this way. They say, well, this is kind of fun. To think that, like what Alan does, crosses the country on 25 gallons, and what's the bike like? I could sit on it, I can look at it, I can actually see him go down the road and see what happens in the winds, and generally it's nothing. There might be something here. So it's where the new recruits come from. So you just come ride with us to see what it's like.
And Craig and Mike Corbin is having an open house, and it also is at the same time as the Hollister Bike Rally. So there's going to be bike craziness going on in Hollister.
If you ride on two wheels, it would be a good idea to make it to Hollister on the July 4th weekend.
And I know some of us misfits are going to be there.
Yep.
And then how many of you are then riding to Ohio to join Pat for the next challenge?
Alan and I are going to go 2,500 miles on our motorcycles in about 5 days. So
sweet.
Did you just hear what he said? And Terry is going to ride his electric motorcycle from the 4th of July weekend to be at Columbus, Ohio the next weekend to be at the Vetter Challenge. He's going to do that. And Alan's going to ride along with him, along with a couple of other people. But to ride his electric motorcycle to Ohio in 7 days? 5 days? But
he's going to take 2 days to rest.
He's going to leave on Saturday and has to be in Ohio for Saturday afternoon riders meeting. Yeah, so, whatever it is. Yeah.
So
he's really going to do this.
Technically, we do this every summer anyway. It's just we're just going to do it again. That's to be another summer ride.
Pat,
well, you're right.
How confident are you in your vehicle?
I already called it a mailbox, so I got to dig myself out of that hole first.
Hauling the mail.
I don't know. I'm thinking, hey, Doug, will you help me cut up some pizza boxes to duct tape to the Elite, and I'll enter?
It is not. You could actually.
You got to get rid of that.
We got a guy named Vic Valdez, and I'll let Alan say something. His bike. If you guys saw when we did the Leno thing, me and Alan were there. Jay Leno looked at all these bikes. Yeah, Jay Leno loves how these bikes look, but Vic's bike is pretty much put together with pizza boxes. But you know what?
Duct tape too.
The air does not care how pretty it is.
The air doesn't care.
Cares about the general shape.
You know what you could do is probably put a disco ball in there, maybe light it, and
right here I have one.
There you go.
Yes.
You got to make it cool. Disco ball, maybe.
I have been in here many times. I've never seen that. That's awesome.
Of course, it's right above the Spice Girls poster and
too much drag.
The bunny ears. I mean, and the White House tour sign. There's plenty to see. So, do any of you have any other upcoming announcements or things you want to share?
So, Alan, in about 3 weeks, we're going to ride from Lake Tahoe to Santa Monica, and we're both going to do it without stopping. It's about 450 miles.
Oh, man.
On Highway 3.
Are you going to use the bottle technique?
What are we going to do, Alan?
What's the bottle?
We're talking about how to... I'm just not going to drink anything for 2 days beforehand, I guess.
Actually, if someone has a 300 mile per gallon carburetor, I'm looking for one of those right now. I'm already close to 200 miles per gallon, but so I need a bigger jump for the competition.
Yeah, Alan's going to do it on his new streamliner. I'm going to do it on electricity. That's going to be the longest distance ever traveled on an electric vehicle. A Tesla father and son combo went 18 miles an hour around for 17 hours, did 420 miles. We're going to be going a regular highway speed. So,
Bosley.
At least we'll see. I don't know if I can do it yet, but I'm usually when I say I can do something, I'm usually pretty reliable that I actually do it. Right, Craig?
You have so far.
And lived.
Sure.
Cool.
Bosley might be barking at the possums. It is possum time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got possums that live under the workbench that start to come out about now. So if you see a big rat, don't worry.
Well, so I'd say
it's just the possums.
To wrap it up, July 4th, come see us in Hollister at the Corbin Rally, and it's July 12th, the AMA in Pickerington, Ohio, Vintage Days. Come see us up there as well.
Well, and then at the end of Bonneville Speed Week, Bud Speed Week, at the end of
what are the dates?
August.
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, we're going to go with the longest challenge ever. We're going to go from Wendover to Grand Junction, Colorado.
2-day ride.
Two-day ride. And once again, just come ride. It's a nice place to ride.
Well, you're really doing great things, and you basically become like the godfather of fuel economy now. And as we were saying yesterday, not that many people even are aware that this is what's happening. And I said you're laying down the tracks, but you all are doing really great things. Knock, you got a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry to put Craig on the spot here, but since you're the guy that kind of brought fairings to the States or into the radar,
the world,
what are your thoughts on modern sport bike fairings?
Well, they're just for looks.
Okay.
There's a look there that people seem to like, and they're there for looks. They really don't do much anything except look at me. I've got the look.
Yep.
Well, and there's another thing that you made comment of that people may want to latch onto. There's a lot of room on the body of an Airstream for something like advertising.
Oh, yeah. There's nobody who wants to be associated with it because, so Vetter, you want to sell space? Yeah, okay. Well, how much more product will it sell that we have? Well, it's not going to sell any more of you. It's going to sell less because we're living better on less. Well, how am I going to sell that to my stockholders? We probably aren't.
So if any of our listeners want to become a fuel-efficient rolling billboard. Should they go to craigvetter.com?
That's what they should do. And if they want a Honda Helix, call me.
Yeah, so in lieu of the...
Would you autograph it, though?
In lieu of the Craigslist porn pick of the week that we do every week, Craig Vetter himself has a Honda Helix for sale. Now, this one has not been streamlined.
This is the way Mr. Honda made it. This is $1,500. This is the same $1,500 I paid for it a couple of years ago.
I just cleaned it.
Did you ever meet Soichiro Honda at all?
No, he retired before. We actually made fairings for Honda.
Oh, cool.
In the 70s. It's a nice story all by itself. And he had retired and stepped out before. I never had a chance to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
The coolest 10-second story is Craig would get the paint schemes for the GL1000 2 years before anybody else knew what color they're going to be.
Wow. I knew there was a GL1000 before anyone knew there was a GL1000.
Well, and that's
because
at the Quail Lodge, they had the history of the Goldwing, and the first one was a naked bike. And then the next one looked completely different.
Yeah.
The next one looked like what we think of as a big touring bike now, and that was with the Vetter, the fairing, and the gear. That's what you got. So you created that look too.
What color was that? Was it like a dark tan, light tan, or
the first GL was turquoise.
Turquoise. Oh wow!
The first GL was turquoise with gold and orange striping on it. It's beautiful, beautiful bike.
Nice.
There was one there at Quail, by the way, the first year.
Yeah. So just before we get out, does anyone else have any other questions they want to throw out?
Got one chance, man.
Oh man.
Let's go right.
If I were to order a kit today, how much would it cost from you guys?
Well, the nose parts are be about, I know, I'm guessing now, probably $1,800 for the nose parts. Okay. The tail parts, another $600 probably. I'm guessing right around that. I'll give you a deal. You want all of them? We'll give you a deal.
Well, my motorcycle's worth $700. So.
Yeah. Well, then it should leave you with a lot of money for streamlining.
Right. But hey, you get free lodging for the 6 months it takes to put it together, right?
And you'll save a lot on gas too.
You just may have to paint a bathroom or two. That's all.
You pay your
it's a labor of love, and it will take you a winter.
So here's the biggest thing to take away from this radio show is if shit ever hits the fan in the world, call Craig Vetter right away.
Yeah, the first zombie attack, I'm heading down to Carmel.
Your bug out bag will include fiberglass parts.
Actually, when it comes to streamlining, the electric motorcycles are much easier to streamline. You don't have to worry about heat, radiator
no radiator, no muffler.
So that's something to think about. You can really cut the corners on electric, which
no lock nuts because they don't vibrate. Apparently,
actually, we built Terry's first streamliner in 8 days at 24 hours with a team of people.
Yeah, we
complete.
Did. Yeah, 8 days.
I left across the country without sleeping across the country, and I hadn't slept for 4 days before that.
Building the bike, yeah.
Dude. And it was Virginia Tech, 2 Virginia Tech students that helped us do that, too. Yeah.
So, and Terry, if people want to reach you or see what you're doing,
Facebook.com/Electric Terry, Instagram Electric Terry, Twitter /Electric Terry, just search Electric Terry.
You are all over the place. You got a Wikipedia page, man.
Hey, that started because Adrian made a comment on this radio show back in October. Asked about Wikipedia, I said no, and then somebody up in Canada did.
There you go.
300 people pitched in.
Maybe we have to thank those
welcome.
Canadians.
That could have been recycled Chilliwack.
And Alan, how about you?
What's that?
If people want to follow you, since you are the current reigning champ,
Craig's website. I'm not too busy riding, building bikes.
You should get an agent.
Well, I'm going to put a link to Craig to your website because I found it really fascinating. I don't know if you've done that work, but it's very well organized. It's an archive of everything you've done, and especially everything you are doing now. Yeah. It's really fascinating.
Thank you. I do it. I don't think you can afford to pay anybody to do a web page. You have to learn how to do that yourself. Yeah, and when we get home tonight, I'm going to put Alan and Terry's latest stuff up, so it'll be tomorrow night. All good stuff tomorrow night. I'll spend most of tomorrow on it for you.
Cool. Well, I think that wraps it up. I want to thank everyone for listening.
Yeah, thanks for coming down.
Thanks for the invite.
Especially
really
for you guys coming. Hey, Zach, you want to tell people how to reach us?
Oh, wait. Before we do that, can we talk about how this guy here came from Texas and he came up here to do his vows?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I think everybody, if you have a chance, you should definitely come and stop by.
Get closer to the mic a little bit.
Yeah, where are you in Texas?
Well, I'm actually living in Boulder, and my bike was in the barn in Huntsville, Texas.
I saw your bike. You got the big sleeping bag on the back. And
yeah, just like everything.
Road dogging
it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
and some pipe clamps and like threaded rod for highway pegs. But The shop, I'd heard you guys on a couple of podcasts, and I just really wanted to come out, and I needed to do a valve inspection because I'm right around 60,000 miles, and I showed up at the shop, didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
You guys handed me tools, helped me out with my questions.
What were you riding?
What's that?
What are you riding?
Oh, I'm on a 2001 FZ1, the first generation.
Yeah, I dragged him into the side room and gave him
they gave
some
me
boots.
So that's a suggestion. If you have any old gear, send it these people's way because some random dirtbag will wear the boots.
Yeah, and the dirtbag that gave him to you is right next to you. That'd be Stan.
Yeah.
He's the size of every man.
I've got Stan's knee pads on right now.
So the 10-second answer, when did you get here? When did you arrive?
I arrived here at 11 this morning. I slept in Big Sur. And
when did you leave Texas?
Like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
I've been taking my time.
Okay. But you've been listening to this radio show for a long time down in Texas.
A fair amount of time. Well, down in Boulder, because it was snowy, didn't have time to ride, so it's just
Well, very cool. Very cool,
man.
But make it out to the shop if you can, because it's awesome.
Liza, you're worldwide, yo. You're just all
Number 1 in Pakistan.
Our numbers have been slipping,
Wait.
but I think that'll go up in September.
Aren't you going to Pakistan?
Yeah, I just bought my ticket to Pakistan.
Give us a 30-second laydown on this thing.
Oh, we'll do a podcast on it, and we have done the Barfistan podcast and the Pakistan Rediscovered.
I heard that. I heard him talk about it.
Yeah, going to go ride the local 150cc bikes not made for off-roading. We're going to take them up on river crossings and death roads and up into the Himalayas. It's going to be awesome.
I'll get Zero to ship me a bike over there. I'll join you.
Yeah. That would be sweet. Well, cool. Since Knock, you're the one who butted in, you tell people how to reach us.
All right, you can find us at motorcyclesandmisfits.com for our podcast, facebook.com/recycle Santa Cruz, recycle motorcycle garage at gmail.com if you want to send an email. We got a call-in number
831-291
Doug's smiling
5112. I'm waiting to kick Doug.
Order pizza.
So
leave us an intro. Tell us your stories, whatever, man.
Order pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, thanks everyone for listening. And I know we've had some recent reviews on iTunes. Thank you very much. That helps.
Rate us on
Keep leaving
iTunes.
them. I love it. So on that note, this is Liza.
Hey, I'm still present. Douglas.
Bagel.
I am Zach.
Alan.
Craig.
Go electric. I'm Terry.
This is Doc.
And Kat.
Stan.
And Peter.
And we're out.
Cool.
Cool.